hacking $100 million from a central bank account seems like a really good movie plot, but it's real and it has exposed loopholes in the system that's supposed to safeguard our hard-earned money. To talk more about cybersecurity, joining us is Manky, a global security strategist at Fortinet.
Now, Derek, thanks for joining us.
Hey, it's my pleasure to be here. Thanks very much.
How could this have happened? Breaching security of IT from a central bank and then moving funds across borders. Tell the lay people out there how it happened.
Well, you know, first of all, there's many hacking attempts happening at any given time in cyberspace. We monitor over 500,000 hacking attempts in just 1 minute. So there's a lot of activity happening out there. So whether it's a bank, large enterprise, everybody's a target. And there's multiple ways that these breaches can occur, right? I mean, you know, cyber criminals or hackers often are trying to plant code inside the network so that they can run malicious instruction, control that, and then gain access to an authorized channel or an authorized machine that can then, you know, issue instructions to wire a fund. The other problem we have is the inside job, the insider threat today. So this is hacking the human. Right? So hackers will go after the human, or even worse, have an inside connection within the secured perimeter to be able to issue funds and do.
So Derek, you're saying that you do also agree with the large opinion of a large group of people that there is some degree of insider knowledge in this case.
There could be. Details are not disclosed. I mean, these things take time, right? A lot of time. In some cases in the past, we're talking 2 or 3 years until we have an actual case that's fully you know, investigated. But in these cases, no matter whether it's an inside job, hackers have to get into the inside. It has to start from the inside, and absolutely it helps a lot to have an inside knowledge.
Now, Derek, the Bangladesh central bank governor has resigned, but the money is obviously still with the New York Fed when it started. What is happening out there, and who's to blame here?
So this is the whole topic of attribution. It's one of the toughest things that we face in our industry, absolutely. So, you know, as far as tracking who is to blame, again, this is going to take some time. What needs to happen and what's happening is the private sector, so us, the security experts, working together with law enforcement, with the public sector, to be able to track the trail of money, to be able to track digital logs and forensics, where this activity is coming from, if it was an outside hacker, and so forth.
Do you believe that Bangladesh will recover its money? I mean, you did say things could take a lot of time, but even if we give them a lot of time or we wait, do you think this is recoverable?
It will take some time, probably not 100%, right? I mean, we're dealing with a lot of money, a lot of different transactions, and possibly different sources. So it's going to certainly be tough. And I think, if anything, this absolutely underscores, in my professional opinion, underscores the need for proper security, for mitigation, to stop the bleeding, so to speak, before anything extremely significant like this occurs.
Well, let's get to the constructive side then. I mean, what can governments do, and what can the private sector also do to avoid this from happening going forward? Because there's a lot of bleeding going on right now.
Absolutely, yeah. So 2 things, right? So first of all, I always talk about security solutions. That's sort of a no-brainer in my point of view. You can reduce the risk. As I said, 500,000 hacking attempts happening in a minute. You absolutely need to build the walls up, have proper security from the inside of the network and also the outside. So we're talking firewalls and so forth. Education is also very important.
Okay, let's go more specific here, based on Quintin's question. Now, there are many countries where they could have chosen to send the money to, but they chose Sri Lanka and the Philippines. Of course, we are developing economies over here. Does this signify that we are sort of weaker compared to other perhaps emerging markets or developing countries in terms of security, and that's why we were chosen? Would that have a correlation?
I think this is a specific channel. I mean, in this case, flags were raised. This was discovered, right, once it happened. So that's a good thing in my point of view, because obviously if this went undetected, that's a much larger issue at hand. So I wouldn't say that it's a problem necessarily on that end. It's just that this was a specific channel, as you mentioned, as other countries that were chosen.
All right, thank you very much for joining us. That was Manky from Fortinet.